Facts are that Deputy Gary Pickard, age 66, full-time deputy sheriff with the Sumner County Sheriff's Department, was out at Chafin Court and addressing Chafin Court here in Gallatin with 4 representatives of the Gallatin Housing Authority. They were there because an eviction notice had been given and served properly, legally, to LaRonda Sweat at her address there at Chafin Court. That had been done earlier in the week. And on this date, which, as I've said, was Wednesday, he was there to back up these representatives of the Gallatin Housing Authority in effectuating the eviction. Before anything really could be done, this was approximately right at 9 o'clock. That's when the eviction notice said that they were going to be coming to effectuate the eviction at 9 o'clock on Wednesday, April the 6th. Before anything really could be done, and even before Deputy Pickard could get on the property of LaRonda Sweat, she encountered him with 2 weapons in her hand. She had a medieval-style battle axe with 2 big blades, a blade on each side of the handle that she was brandishing, and she had a sword in her other hand. She immediately confronted Deputy Pickard. He told her to drop her weapons. She did place the sword in the ground, but she maintained possession of that battle axe. And before he knew it, she had taken that battle axe and had sliced him with the axe. He immediately backed up, retreated as quickly as he could. He then called for backup, and Gallatin Police Department responded. There were 3 Gallatin officers that responded to the scene. They actually got there on the scene in about 4 minutes from the time that the call was placed for assistance. The first officer on the scene was James Spray. Officer Spray got out of his car, and immediately out of the corner of his eye, he could see coming around the car LaRonda Sweat. LaRonda Sweat confronted him. She approached him. She still had the battle axe in her hand. She was brandishing that battle axe. She was rapidly walking toward Officer Spray. She was told several times to drop it, get on the ground, drop it by Officer Spray, but she ignored that. As a matter of fact, she was picking up speed coming into the near presence of Officer Spray, threatening him with that battle axe. Officer Spray knew that we already had one officer on the scene, Deputy Pickard, that had been cut with this battle axe. He had about 8 seconds to make a decision as to what to do. She picked up speed. She came very, very close to Officer Spray to where she could have struck him with the battle axe. And Officer Spray had his gun out, and he shot her in the upper torso, and he shot again. He fired his service revolver, service pistol 2 times. Well, the first shot proved to be fatal. However, on the scene, the 2 officers that followed Officer Spray to the scene, they were there very, very quickly. In fact, the entire thing was going down when the second officer showed up. Third officer showed up immediately after that. Those 2 officers performed CPR for LaRonda Sweat, trying to preserve her life. They worked very hard trying to keep her alive and to preserve her life until EMS could arrive. They continued to perform CPR until EMS arrived and took her to the hospital. LaRonda Sweat was unfortunately pronounced dead at the hospital later on. After considering all the evidence, especially the videos, the audio recordings, I have concluded, after talking to the TBI, the investigating officers, thoroughly going over this case, that this shooting was totally justified. There will be no prosecution. There will be no further investigation necessary in the course of this particular matter. As sad as it is, and as much as we regret it, as terrible it is that a person has lost her life, Officer Spray had no choice but to do what he did.